Welcome back to CCRPG. Once again, I'm Robert, the GM, and we're continuing on where we left off on last time. Last time, we had the pilots embark on a mission down to a horrible desert planet named Amokolasi, on which the pilots had to assist with a salvage operation. The pilots made their way through there, through some desert storms, and got there just in time to see the salvage operation attacked by a giant sandworm. Luckily, they only took a scrape or two while fighting off the sandworm. We didn't say it explicitly last time, but Gearhead actually took 2 points of damage. Sorry, we'll try to keep things like that to a minimum, but we're going to pick back up right where we left off, guys. It is after combat. The giant sandworm has just collapsed to the ground after JD shot it. That would have brought Gearhead to the ground along with it, as she was riding on top of it. And Junker, you had the best seat in the house on top of the ship, watching this giant sandworm collapse.
While you're overheating.
Hey, I'm not overheating yet.
He's just heated.
Yeah.
He's slightly heated.
The fight got me hot and bothered, you know.
Hot and bothered.
Well, Alannah tends to do that to anyone she meets. So.
True.
Yeah.
So
bothered.
yeah, let's very bothered. Everyone's just bothered.
She's hot and they're bothered.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, what are you doing? It's just after combat ended.
I think we should ask Amelia
well,
if she's alive. Maybe look for her.
Are our comms back up between us and the scavenging team, or are they still down?
Or Gearhead.
Or mine.
So far,
oh yeah.
So far, you guys have received no communication from the salvage team, and Gearhead's communication systems are currently disabled.
More like destroyed.
We all just take a moment to
You're
point
right.
out
Destroyed.
the cow behind Todd is now there.
It is great.
If
the
you
cow is back.
were missing the cow is back.
Meow.
The moo mech that Gearhead, or not Gearhead, I keep confusing you assholes.
I know,
we look nothing alike.
Junker and Gearhead is pretty understandable.
The moo mech that Junker is slowly building towards. He's going to find the right combination of licenses to pilot a giant mechanical cow.
He's going to shoot milk at people.
Eventually. Yeah, so what first steps? Go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to contact Amelia. I don't know exactly how I would do that.
Gearhead, you okay? Gearhead?
I'm just gonna stand here and do nothing because I don't have comms. So I'm just gonna throw my hands up.
I'm gonna walk up to Gearhead.
Is that something you could probably... Well, you can't hear me. I would suggest something.
She's gonna point at like where the ears would be, and then do like a dead motion.
Yeah, just punch your mic a few times, like.
Yeah.
I'll walk up and just do one of these.
I'm gonna try the channel we were communicating with the salvaging team again, and I'll say, Amelia, come in. Anyone from the salvaging team come in?
After a few moments, you keep broadcasting. Eventually, someone will come over who's not Amelia. A man comes up on your screen. He's a balding older man, in kind of like a jumpsuit. You can tell from the top of his chest. And he comes in and he says, "Hello. Who's reading me? This is Stanley Ray."
This is Junker. Can I ask, are you part of the salvage team?
Yeah, I'm chief mechanic.
What's your status?
I have no idea why I'm here. I just showed up one
here
day
from another world. Listen. Yeah, we're gonna need some help after all that went down to get back into working shape. I mean, oh boy, the damage is excessive.
Oh boy is right. I got a first-hand view of it going down. Yeah, we will be happy to assist. Do you know the status of your head salvager, Amelia?
Now, we lost contact with Amelia when the thing went down. I think if one of you guys would be kindly enough to go check on her, it might be appreciated.
She wasn't by any chance in, like, the northeastern crane, was she?
I believe she was one of the command ships up in that direction. Yeah.
Ooh.
We will go check on her.
Yeah, about that.
All right. So from here,
I'm going to...
let's just say the salvage team's in bad repair. Whatever you guys at this point, you would need to see what you can do to kind of get things back into working order.
Is the communication device on Gearhead's mech in, like, an accessible location from the outside?
Isn't this something you can fix through stabilized systems?
Unfortunately, it was destroyed.
It was
Not
destroyed.
damaged. It was destroyed.
Wow. Do you have an Omni hook?
I do.
Uh-huh.
I have an Omni tool, actually.
Omni tool is not an Omni hook.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the object that Junker has, is the Omni hook.
Can the
Which
Omni
is a
hook
communicator.
communicate into the mechs?
Oh, it's not an actual hook.
Nah.
No.
It is it's like a thing that feeds into lines, so you can contact people.
Oh. What, but you're saying my Swiss Omni tool doesn't have a 3 1/4 inch jack in? Just plug it in and get some audio.
Not
Don't think
with what
that's
you
how-
would be used to.
So, Alannah has the ingenious idea of using her sound system, kind of like Bumblebee does in Transformers 1. She's just gonna pick songs with words she wants to say.
While that is annoying, I'm going to allow it. Go ahead and actually no, you just do it. So as part of the Lancer system, pilot checks in someone's background who's specifically very proficient in that. Gearhead, being a prime example, is an expert in electronics and mechanics. So especially because you're good in electronics, specifically under improvisation and invention. So you'd be able to wire something up. I'm going to actually do you one better. I'm going to say rather than just having to do generic things like that, you could pump out your actual voice, but it would not have the range that you would normally be able to communicate. And your communications would be accessible to everyone. They're no longer coded for only being heard by your allies.
That's fine. So I'll do that, and then I will broadcast. I jerry-rigged up a way to talk, but it's not on an encrypted network.
Yeah, just sure. Okay. How close do we have to be to hear? Because it must be hard with the storm, and also we're inside mechs.
Your mechs will be able to pick up and interpret the sound data coming from him as long as you are within his sensor range.
Okay.
Which is, how long is your sensor range?
90.
90 feet. So as long as we're within 90 feet of him, you'll be able to pick up his transmissions.
Right, I'm just going to point over to the northeastern part.
Okay.
And start walking that way. I can hear you.
Yeah, I'll head there as well.
So the northeastern section of the salvage site is pretty messed up. There are command vehicles that are torn to shreds, like just some that have their tires ripped off and are like kind of on their side, half sunken in the sand. Specifically, you'll notice that the crane crawler that was getting ready to hook up to the salvage site has lost its stabilization. One of the stabilizer rods that was hooked into the ground to keep it from moving once it starts cranking was ripped away by the worm, and it started leaning to one side.
Okay. Do we see any people among the wreckage?
You don't see any passively. You could try to search through the wreckage to see if there's anyone you can save.
Now, would it be easier to search through the wreckage if I got out of my mech and was just in my hard suit? Could I maneuver around easier that way?
in your hard suit, you would be protected from the storm, much like the people in the environmental suits were. So you could travel in your hard suit on the surface of this planet without being too impaired.
Yeah.
And it depends on what things you're trying to do. Remember, unless you have manipulators like Gearhead, do you still have the manipulators?
Yeah, I got the manipulators and
So
grapplers,
unless you
so
have
I've
manipulators like
four
like
arms.
Gearhead has, you won't be able to interact with small objects. So you do have a danger of like trying to pick up a piece of metal and accidentally like pushing the metal down and crushing someone underneath of it if you're just using mech hands. But also in your hard suit, you won't be able to lift anything as heavy as you would in your mech.
Right.
So you're trading off precision for strength, whether you choose to do it in your mech or in your hard suit.
So we're heading towards the vehicle where Amelia was, allegedly, right?
Okay, so if you check the large command vehicle in the northeastern quadrant of the camp, you will see that half of it has been ripped off, but a large chunk of it seems still intact, but it's been flipped on its roof, and it looks like it's kind of like crumpled down a bit.
Okay, I'm gonna start. I'll radio to Merlin. Say I'm gonna start looking for survivors here, and I'll start looking around. I don't know if maybe it's a perception check or I just do that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to look around, it would just be a. So I need to know: are you still in your mech while looking, or did you get out in your suit?
Well, yeah, good question. So, if there's a lot of wreckage, maybe I'll use the mech to clear some wreckage away. And if it gets to a point where it's like I'm too big to, search more, I'll get out into my hard suit and maybe
Okay.
enter the wreckage. So that'll be what I do.
Now, Colton is unusually perceptive.
Yes.
He's a good person at spotting things. So I'm gonna go ahead and have you roll a pilot.
Not his drinking habit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, admitting there's a problem is half the problem. I'm gonna go have you roll a pilot skill check with 2 accuracy, since that's part of your background.
Okay. So
I'm gonna walk up to help you, blocking as much as the sand that I can from
Okay.
like the wreckage area, and then start to get out of it. Be like,
So
you stay in your
rolled-
mech.
What's that?
You stay in your mech. I'll and look from up there. I'll get out.
Oh, you're getting out. Okay. But anyway, I rolled for that. I rolled a 20.
Okay, so Todd rolled a 16 plus his accuracy was 4, so you pinpoint nailed 20, and in Lancer, when you roll a 20 or above, that's a great success. So Todd, you get a little bit extra out of Junker when you attempt this because you're really good at it.
Yeah, that's right.
You kind of view over the area, and because your systems are still working, you're able to send transmissions down to Merlin, who's out of his suit, and JD, your HUD in your hard suit's helmet will just start lighting up with marks that you're getting from Junker from up above as he's looking down on the wreckage, with things he's spotted as unusual or movement or things like that. You've basically spotted everything you can see.
Okay.
So JD, you'll have to actually go in and investigate it, but Junker's pointed out all the pertinent positions for you.
All right. And we're at the command center, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I'm gonna use my mech again as much of a shield as I can as I get out of it.
Yep.
And then jump out and start investigating. I also have grabbed my first aid gel too with it.
Okay. And as you jump down, I'm gonna have you roll a check to kind of like navigate this wreckage to try and investigate these marks. Do you have anything you think would be useful to use that would help Merlin do this?
Have I ever seen them like like a design or anything of something like this?
I don't think you'd have the designs for these vehicles, no.
Then I'd say no.
No? Okay. Okay, then I'm just going to have you roll a pilot check.
11.
11. Okay. So, I was going to have you add an accuracy onto that because of all the extra data that that Junker was able to give you. But you're at 11. No amount of accuracy would have popped you over 20. So you have a success regardless. So as you're burning through the wreckage, just kind of checking out the things that you think were the most interesting things he pointed out to you, you'll eventually move something, and out of this pit of wreckage, just a hand comes up and like grabs a girder and is trying to like shift it off of itself.
I'll try to pull it off.
And a hard suit that you guys have is not on the same level as what they have. Like you're almost half a mech in one of those hard suits. So you're able to get down and you just like lift this girder and like toss it aside. Mm-hmm. And underneath the girder, you find a very injured and battered Amelia.
All right. Instant first aid.
Okay. She is in an environmental suit, but you'll notice that the right sleeve is completely torn off of the environmental suit from her struggling underneath the wreckage.
Okay.
So I'm going to just say that you're able to use your first aid kit to help in this manner. You have training with, like, field patching people and stuff like this, and her injuries aren't life-threatening, so I'm not going to require a pilot skill check for this. Okay. But you are able to administer to her. You need to get her out of the storm, though, because with a ruptured suit like this, she is not safe out here.
Is there a further... Can we get further inside the command center? Or, like, there's half of it's still up, right?
There's enough of it that is whole that you could get her from the wreckage into a more shielded part of it.
I'll do that for now.
Okay. So you get her in, and she's, like, up against a wall, and she's just breathing hard.
Is she conscious?
Yes, she's conscious.
All right. Well, you know salvaging operations better than we do. What's our first priority to help you out?
She's like holding one arm with the other. She's leaning against the wall. She goes, well, first things first is I'm going to have to make a survey of everything that happened. If
Northeastern crane is lost its support structure. It's heavily damaged. You can see what's happened to this command center. Command center to the south is completely destroyed.
Okay. I'll tell you what, if you can get me to a functioning command center, I can run diagnostics and coordinate with my mechanics, see what's most needed right now.
Junker will take you there.
Okay.
I'm going to stay here and see if I can find anyone else.
Thank you.
And then I'll take her over to Junker then.
Okay. How do I, what's the logistics of loading up passengers in my mech?
If you have an empty, storage area, that could fit a person.
Come on, she can get in the cockpit with you.
Yeah, she could, but your suit would be heavily, like, you'd be under certain status ailments while transporting her, essentially, because you aren't able to control it properly with another person in the cockpit with you.
Yeah.
Which isn't as bad because you're not really in combat right now, so you could probably suffer those for the amount of time. But while she's in the cockpit with you, your suit would be considered impaired, and you would have like +1 difficulty on basically any action you want to do in your suit.
Okay. So I'll have her join me in the cockpit, and then I'll take her. Where was it? The Southern Command Center?
Yeah, the Southern Command Center was the one that was smashed by the worm. That is the one that's completely destroyed. Okay. There's a Southwest Command Center.
Yeah.
That is the one that's still active.
Okay, so I'll transport her there, and I'll sort of gesture at Gearhead like I'm going over here.
Okay.
And I'll head to the southern. Yeah.
Why is she talking like that?
I am a robot.
She's
She's a robot.
Well, technically, I do have an AI that could probably talk for me. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
do?
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you loaded up an
I have it
AI.
on here. Hold on. Yeah, smart system. I have a sub-sentient AI. It can speak to you in limited
Oh,
terms.
the smart plug.
But no personality or thought.
Okay.
No.
So it's not one of the more advanced.
Yeah.
It's the one that's available to you at character creation. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You'll get her there. This is also where Stanley, the head mechanic, happens to be. He's at this command center. So getting them together, he's able to kind of brief her on the situation. They start going over basically all the issues that are needed before they continue the salvage operation. One, that crane in the northeast needs to be stabilized. There's no way they're going to be able to continue with the salvage operation without that crane at the third point. So anything you guys can do to help repair it or stabilize it in some way so that the crane crawler is usable again. They are having trouble with their systems, like their communication equipment. So it's going to be hard to coordinate and figure things out while that's down.
Yeah.
The third thing is they lost some of their support. So I told you last time that they actually had pistons that they had wedged up against the side of the ship
Right.
that were meant to basically extend out and help push the ship up as the cranes were lifting it and give it kind of a base to sit on while it was raised up out of the sand. A lot of those have been knocked loose by the sandworm, basically burrowing past. So something would either be done to jerry-rig like new pistons to help lift it, or they recommend, hey, maybe you guys could even help us out if you have some additional ways to help lift this, like if you can, help pull it up in some way or lift it with your mechs in some way.
Okay. So they're discussing this in the command center right now.
Yes, they are.
And I'm with them. So I'll relay this information back to Merlin through the communicator. And I'll also ask, hey, do you guys happen to have a spare Omni hook in your inventory? One of our team members, her communicator got destroyed, so we can't really. She can speak to us, but we can't speak to her.
So, Stanley will say, actually, yeah, we have some personal communication equipment in the storage lockers. You usually have to sign to check it out, but I think this is one of them extenuating circumstances.
Oh, wow.
As he
What a nice
opens
guy.
the thing and just throws it to you.
Okay. Okay, cool. So, I'll say thank you. And we will get to work on one of those tasks. Maybe we will begin with the stabilizing that crane. And I'll head back and get back into my mech. And I'll say I'll keep in contact. So I'm gonna walk over once I get back into the mech and leave the command center. I'll walk over to Gearhead and I'll try to gesture like, get out of your mech. I have something for you. I don't know how I would gesture.
What's that gesture?
Get out.
Start doing the rope.
I mean, I'll get out of my mech eventually.
She doesn't
too,
take
so
the hint.
hopefully she takes the hint.
So
She actually picks you up with her manipulators, because that's what she
Okay.
thought you meant.
I'll say no. Put me down. Put me
The
down.
gesture is you pretend to roll down the window of a car,
That's true.
which isn't even a gesture in our time anymore.
Perhaps
Yeah.
if you made
It's
a
it's an
gesture of like
already
opening a
obsolete
door,
gesture.
perhaps.
I'll
She
say
just walks
I'll,
up in the
I'll do
mech.
this. Like, come here. Say.
Do, do, do.
I'm still in my hard suit. How bad is the weather? Could I get out of my hard suit even?
Without an environmental suit to protect you indirect, like if you were in a shielded section, the sandstorm wouldn't harm you. But while being blasted by sand, being outside of your hard suit would injure you.
So as part of,
pilot.
I believe as part of my wilderness survival kit, I have a backup environmental suit, so I can get inside of that.
You could use an environmental suit to shield yourself. Yes.
So I'll get into my environmental suit. I'll take the spare Omni hook. I'll leave my hard suit, and I'll hold it up to Gearhead.
So you leave your hard suit in your mech for some reason. You're just like, it can stay back there.
I was gonna say, to what end are you getting out of your hard suit?
Well, because no, so it's like those Russian dolls. I get out of the mech first, and then I get out of the hard suit, and I'm wearing my environmental suit. And I'm doing this so I can literally show Gearhead the Omni hook device, and I could be like, "This is point at it," because I can't seem to communicate to her that I
Gearhead just goes,
to her.
I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want from me.
So you would see in his hands,
Yeah, sure,
holding
but
what you would recognize as an Omni hook.
Yeah.
All my communications are destroyed. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna fix it with an Omni hook.
I'll do like the
Trying
phone,
to call me?
the phone gesture. Okay,
He gets angry,
He
just
will face
throws the
palm.
Omni hook at the cockpit and just shatters against it.
For you,
I made this.
I'll hold it up.
I'll grab it with
hold
a
it
manipulator.
towards you in a gesture of giving. Okay. Can you retrieve
I'd
it
have to
from
open
there?
my
Can
mech.
you put it inside your mech?
I'll just open it and yell,
Yeah.
"What do you want?"
I'll nod. That's an
We're
Omni
talking
hook.
right
That's
now.
for you, so we can talk.
What is it?
Yeah, so we can talk from inside the mech.
Does something with it, whatever. Yeah, ties it. Necktie.
Wraps it to her chest.
It's actually
Yeah.
the little Star
I'm
Trek.
good with electronics, right? I'll
comm
make it
badges.
work.
You just dink.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, you're great with them, actually. Yeah. The Omni hook is just fine for you. Yeah,
Okay.
you can patch the Omni hook fairly easily into the mech communications. The only thing you guys won't have is a visual feed
Look,
of Alannah.
This
which-
hotness is ingrained in those minds.
that's your
They don't
loss.
need to.
Okay.
They already look at it 24/7. They don't need an actual representation.
Yeah, so you guys will now be back in
24/7
communication.
implies a lot of things.
What's that?
24/7
no
implies
secrets
a lot of
between this
things.
squad. Yeah.
So
No sleeping, only washing.
Junker gets back into his mech. He calls.
Without his hard suit,
He gets back into his hard suit. Gets back into his mech
I still don't understand why you got out of your hard suit in the first place.
because
it's okay. It's over now. It's happened.
because he
Why can I
wasn't
not
getting
make fun
it.
of him?
He wasn't getting it, and so I had to literally show him the
You can make fun of him, but don't worry, others will already.
Okay.
I
As long as
I
that's
mean,
the case.
I feel vindicated.
As long
it
as he's
worked.
not off the hook for it. The Omni hook.
And anyway, I get back inside the mech, and then I call up Gearhead, and I'm like, Gearhead, boy, someone so smart, you could be really stupid. Anyone there?
Yep.
Give me the silent treatment, I see.
Alannah then says, "What?" Sorry, I was looking at myself in the mirror I have in here.
Never mind.
Just admiring the beauty. It's personalized,
You have a
bro.
mirror in
Of course.
your mech?
Dangerous.
I also have a toilet in
So,
here.
Doesn't seem
while I'm
useful.
in the command center,
That's actually true. I have a toilet. It's written down.
this
Or
also
has to
means
leave, I
that-
guess.
I'll let Merlin know that that Gearhead now has an Omni hook. You can relay messages. You can use me as a go-between, since I don't think you have an Omni hook, do you?
No,
Yeah.
actually, because Gearhead is good with electronics, though, she was able to patch the Omni hook in through your mech
fantastic.
communications.
Okay.
So you guys can actually communicate
So no
your
need.
mechs to her Omni hook. It's just you won't get a visual feed like you normally do.
Gotcha. Okay, great.
Okay. I'm in my hard suit in the command center. I don't think I have my communications right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all of that. You're in the command suit. You're in your hard suit. Command center hard suit. Whatever.
I don't have my mech communication, right?
Don't have your mech.
Like
So
if
what
I'm
you
in my hard suit, like I don't have the same communication stuff.
No, your hard suit, as long as you're close enough to your mech, I'm going to say it relays it.
Okay,
So
okay, I was just wondering.
if you're within range of your mech, it relays from you to your mech to your teammates.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, I'm gonna start searching the command center for people.
Okay, the destroyed one.
Yeah, and
Okay.
for information about what they're salvaging.
Okay. Now, do you have anything that would help you search better?
I have empathy. I would say that maybe to like find people. I don't.
You could
I don't know if that would really
empathize
work
with
or
the wreckage.
Yeah, I would say
'Cause you
I
feel like
care
your
a lot
life is a
more
wreck
about
sometimes.
trying to find people, so I'd keep a close
Okay.
eye on that. Other than
Okay.
that, not much else. No.
I don't know how much your political etiquette will help you trying to
Not much.
find people. Yeah, it's probably not as useful. So as you go,
Hi, Cody's
into-
dad.
Just ruining. Didn't even close the door. Ugh.
So, so as you burn through the wreckage, you're kind of looking around, trying to see what you can find. Go ahead
Terrible.
and make a pilot skill check. I'm still giving you accuracy on this because you haven't investigated all of the lit spots given to you by Junker yet.
Rolled an 18, 2 with the accuracy. That's a 20.
Oh, so much like Junker, you pinpointed that that critical success. So, I'm going to interpret that as you find kind of both of the things you were looking for. First thing you stumble across while salvaging the salvager's command vehicle,
It's a tongue twister.
yeah, is you're gonna find a schematic for the inside of the cargo ship. It appears that they at least appear to understand and know what the inside of the ship looks like. If not exactly what's in there, at least what it looks like inside. Now, you're not as great as at interpreting these kinds of schematics, so maybe one of your allies will be able to help you with that. But you at least right now have some information about what the inside of this ship is going to look like. The second thing is, as you're picking it up and examining it, you hear a groan coming from the corner of the room under a pile of rubble.
All right, I'll go check that out. Of course.
All right? Underneath...
I leave it there. I walk away.
you're just like, fuck this. Underneath that, you hear a woman's voice underneath some wreckage.
Okay. Can I get the wreckage away without hurting her?
It looks like she's under a couple piles of wreckage. You'll easily have the strength to shift it off of her. The question is whether or not you're going to be able to figure out like what pieces slide where. Because she's up against a corner and parts of the walls are collapsed on her. So to figure out how it won't collapse on top of all of you. For this, do you have any tools? You know what? I'm going to count your hard suit as a tool being used for this. Because of its intense strength, moving rubble like this, even if you make a mistake, you'd be able to... It's pretty durable. If you had to, you could put your body in the way
Right.
of
So-
some sort of collapse.
Right.
So,
I
roll
would
that
like to
with
say
accuracy,
that
please.
my
Oh, yeah. Alannah.
shell, the Tortuga shell, is also made to breach and clear ships, and it can occupy like entire hallways on ships, so it's pretty bulky and can hold quite a lot of weight. So if we need to like prop something up with me, I can just hold it there.
Oh,
But you don't have the shell of your suit yet, right? You're still working with the initial
I assume.
suit.
Well, it doesn't say the core is separate from the shell according to the rule book.
Okay. So, the shell...
I have the
what suit
Tortuga
do you have again? Is it with
IPSN.
SCC? IPS. Tortuga.
I thought. But it could just be
So,
that the core,
the-
it means the core component of, and not the core
Yes.
that runs the mech. It's not very detailed and
the
descriptive.
core... Okay, so the way it works is the second license in Tortuga would give you access to the actual
Gotcha.
model of the Tortuga. Right now, you're working with a modified version of your original mech. You'll be switching into
I don't know
the
if we,
Tortuga
If we ever mentioned
schematic
that we're running on a
once you get the
beta
next
system that is not fully complete. So things are very incomplete
Yeah,
in their
so
descriptiveness.
there are some things getting changed around. So, Jordan, though, I believe you've rolled your skill check with accuracy.
I did 8 plus 2, so 10.
Nice. Okay, so luckily you're doing this in your hard suit, and that was just enough. I'm going to interpret that as, yeah, you were able to shift some stuff off of her, but you notice that moving some of it out has actually removed some structure from the wall, and it starts to pull in on you. But you're able to just hold your hand up against the wall, and in fact, you just push it the other way, and it just collapses the other way instead. So you have retrieved a salvager. She is a woman, like a darker complected woman. She's shorter and with like dark black hair. Her environmental suit seems undamaged.
What's your name?
She says, "My name is Shannon Gross."
Okay. Is there anyone else around?
I was. Oh, it just happened so fast. I was in here with. And she seems like a little jarred from what happened. And then she like catches it. Amelia, what happened to Amelia?
I got her out.
Oh, good. Yes. Okay. There was no one else in this room. Did you find anyone else?
Not yet.
Okay.
What's your job here?
I'm just one of the salvagers.
Oh.
I'm one of the ancillary crew, running the machines from terminal.
Trying to get all of the systems back up so we can continue the salvage as quickly as possible. What exactly are we salvaging so we know what systems that we can get up and running quicker?
As far as I'm aware, there's something on the ship we're trying to get out. Maybe some of the breach teams would know more. I'm not going in myself. I'm operating the machinery.
Very good. Well, it's not big enough that requires machinery, then.
So, Alannah cannot fail engineering skill checks to stabilize any systems. So if you need something fixed, I can do it.
If you need a system stabilized, she's your girl.
So, by the way, just as a reminder, back when Junker was at the command center, talking to Amelia, and what was the other guy's name?
The other man's name was Stanley.
Stanley. They did have a few tasks for us that would help them continue the salvage operations. So I think it would stabilize the crane to the north, right?
Yes, the crane crawler to the north needs stabilized. The pistons, a lot of them were knocked out, so they'll need something additional to help get the initial lift on the ship.
Yes, like
and a lot of their communications and coordination equipment were knocked out.
right. So Junker did relay that information to you guys. Or I guess maybe not to Gearhead yet, since she didn't have the Omni Hook.
So relay the information.
What's that?
Yeah, Junker.
Yeah.
Relay the information, Junker.
Well, we did already.
What do you mean?
Back
I didn't
when
hear you say anything.
back when he was talking.
Hey,
to
you
them.
you said that you hadn't relayed that information to Gearhead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
and do
okay. Okay, so hey, Gearhead, you want to help me with this? So I talked to Amelia, and there's some things we could do to help. Do you want to help me with the crane crawler?
There's nothing else to
up
do
the
in this
north.
hellhole of a desert, so yes.
All right, let's stabilize this thing and get the operation back on track.
I want to see what's in this ship.
And
Why we risked our lives.
well, I'm heading over to the crane, so if you
Well,
wanna
I'm
help me
going
with
to,
that,
but I'm
and then
sure
we'll get-
there's also an entrance that way. Or if not, we'll make an entrance.
So the crane isn't actually on the ship, or in the
No, I
ship.
know, but it's on the outside of the ship. Therefore, there should be an entrance to get into the ship.
Okay, so are you saying you want to go in
After
the ship?
we stabilize the crane.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm on the same page.
You sure? Do I have to say it a third time?
You confuse me sometimes, Gearhead. So let's head over to the crane. I'll start moving that way now.
I'm gonna tell Shannon that stay here for now. They'll get more rescue
Oh, you
teams.
should have
and
named
everything.
her Shenandoah.
She'll lean against one of the more stable walls, and kind of just like catch her breath.
She's terribly injured. I'm assuming not.
No, just kind of like shocked.
Quick, I didn't find anyone else.
No, there was no one else as far as you were able to check in the command center.
Okay. I'm gonna get back to my suit then.
Okay. You're able to mount Merlin's mech.
Ooh.
All right. What are you guys doing from here?
So we're gonna go to the
We're off to see the
crane
wizard.
crawler to the north, and assess its.
I'm sure if I just looked at it, I could fix
status.
it.
Okay. You guys do that. I'm gonna go inspect the worm.
Okay.
Okay. So Junker and Gearhead, as you head up north and inspect the broken crane crawler, much like Amelia told you ahead of time, one of the stabilization struts has been completely ripped off. But after the other two struts were already dug into the ground.
Okay.
So it hasn't fallen over and collapsed under its own weight, but where the strut was supposed to be, it started heavily leaning in that direction.
So
Say to Gearhead, do you think we can reattach the
I'm
strut?
thinking if there was that broken command vehicle nearby, we can salvage something from that and create a new strut to dig into the ground.
Okay. You're the
That's,
mechanical wizard.
that's true. I'm going to use my
I do-
wizard.
All right,
I want
Gearhead.
to send a quick message to the other people if they have communications of any kind, telling them that.
That is one of the things that's down and they need help with. Their communication systems are kind of fried at the moment. They're down to using personal communicators at the moment, and they have very few of those.
Does Shannon have one? If I try to contact her.
Shannon does not have one.
What a bitch. Okay.
But they will have sent out basically a ground team to go help Shannon to an undestroyed vehicle. So back at the broken crane, I'm going to need Gearhead to make me a mechanics pilot skill check. Because it's part of your background and you seem to know what you're trying to do, I'm going to go ahead and have you roll a pilot skill check with 2 accuracy.
Oh my fucking god. 3 sixes. Yeah, I got a 12. Because one of those 6s doesn't count.
Yes.
Also,
okay, so
roll
a
20
12
is
to-
broken, so that might be why you didn't see it.
Okay. Roll 20 is what we're using to check each other's rolls and keep track of our notes. So, a 12 is a success, Cody.
Well, it's above 10.
It's
yeah.
just not a... Yeah, it's just not a critical success. So, you actually are able to do pretty much exactly what you had planned out to do. You're able to find a pretty sturdy piece that's still intact from the command center. And for your purposes, you know that it's about the right size to attach to that part of the sand crane crawler. The only problem will be the actual attaching of it. You will be able to do that, but you'll have to do something to stabilize the crane first so that you can attach it and keep it upright.
Can I hold the crane in place while he tries to
So
attach it?
how is Junker planning on doing
With his
that?
brute strength.
So there are two struts in place, right? And it's sort of leaning to one
So
side.
imagine a tripod that lost one of its legs, so
Yeah.
it's leaning towards the side that's missing.
So can Junker? I mean, I don't know. Maybe this crane's bigger than I'm imagining it, but can Junker just sort of hold it up as like Gearhead sort of attaches his?
It's probably a little bit bigger
makeshift
than you're
strut.
imagining. It kind of looms over you quite a bit. You can try to push it, but you're not gonna to be close enough to push it. You're going to be standing on it, right? Because it's a vehicle, and then on that vehicle is the crane.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And
so you'd be standing on the back of the vehicle trying to push the crane up, or you'd be standing at the side of the vehicle trying to get your hands underneath of it and just lifting.
Remember,
Gotcha.
lift
And
with
the
your
struts are
knees,
coming
not
out
with your
of
back.
The vehicle or the crane itself?
They're coming off of the crane, so the crane is on the back of the vehicle. It has the struts coming down, and they're going to the sides of the vehicle.
Does Junker have a child trapped under it that he can pull some
Adrenaline.
extra strength from?
He
A
can
robot
draw
child.
that extra mother strength
Has to be a robot
to,
child.
to save them. Yeah. This is the future.
Yeah.
It's a robot child.
Okay, I'm.
Junker, I'm saying you can absolutely do something to try and stabilize it for Gearhead, but you're going to have to explain to me how you're doing
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
so I
sure.
can determine how difficult what you're trying to do is.
Sure. So the main problem is that he can't attach the strut without it being held in place, right?
It needs to be straightened first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I push against it and then use my jump jet to push it forward? You know, like a.
Oh, super absolutely.
Yeah.
You could.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do.
That's actually kind of the solution I was predicting you would use.
Yeah. Okay.
I would
Yeah.
have used the crane winch as leverage and pulled it the other direction.
Well.
The crane is
not how-
currently unattached.
It's not the fun way.
And you don't know how to operate it. You could probably figure it out, though, so that was another option for sure.
It's not as fun anyway.
So, Junker, you get up onto the side of the crane, and yeah,
Yeah.
you're able to fire your jump jets.
Yeah.
And you're really good at it, so you know exactly how to maneuver it in such a way that you can kind of keep it stable without moving. You're basically correcting the whole time because you're not really pushing straight on it.
Yeah.
And Alannah, because of your previous role and Junker's help, you're able to attach a new strut to the crane crawler.
Wahoo.
It is now a stable crane salvager.
Yay.
All right, you've
This
completely
is
fixed one of the issues.
when Junker and I do a glorious high five. But we jump in the
For
air
mech
and
hands.
freeze frames.
Yeah. And then fade to black,
Credits.
fade back in. We're with JD. JD, what are you doing down at that giant snake?
Checking the worm to make sure it's not. I don't know if I can scan it right. Get a deeper scan.
You're close enough to scan it. Yes.
I want to make sure that it wasn't controlled from anyone. Can I detect any kind of electronics in its brain or anything?
Yeah, you can. That's a pretty easy scan to make. So normally, so we're gonna use kind of the rules of scanning in combat. So there are different levels of scan. if you do a deep scan, it reveals specific information, detailed system statuses, equipment, and all that. And I would say if you're able to perform a deep scan on this sandworm, you should be able to detect any mechanical or electronical equipment, essentially, that the sandworm would have had.
Okay.
To do a deep scan, you would make a system modifier check versus the E defense of the creature.
Okay.
Well, we determined before that since it doesn't have an E defense, that it'll be kind of like a skill check. As long as you get over 10, we'll say it's a success.
13.
13? There we go. Okay, so JD, you stand over the sandworm, and you're kind of scanning it down, getting a lot of organic tissue. You learn its current HP, 0. Its heat, 0. Its speed, 6. I don't know how you figured that out by scanning a dead snake.
Math.
You figure out all its systems inside and out, and by that I mean it has no systems. It is a completely original sandworm.
It's the
And
real
a
deal.
deep scan does something cool. You learn one secret piece of information when you succeed on a deep scan of a target. When you deep scan this sandworm, your systems, obviously you don't have an AI or anything, but your systems are intelligent enough to like automatically search things based on your scan data, and it kind of just displays like keywords and stuff like that to you that relate to the readings you're finding. And you're able to basically figure out that when people have observed creatures like this on other planets, tremors and anything that significantly impacts the surface would almost be like a call to one of these creatures. And you're fairly quickly able to associate all of the movement of the vehicles and the digging of the support struts for the crane crawlers are probably what alerted the sandworm to the presence of the salvaging crew.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right, guys, what do you want to do next? Still got a few.
I want to know what's in this
things.
ship.
All right, there is no access point yet.
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna make one.
Specifically, what the salvage crew was attempting to do was to lift the ship enough out of the sand to expose a section of the ship that has an easy bulkhead to break into that would lead to the interior of the ship.
That's one of the things they actually asked us to help with, since a lot of the like pistons or whatever they were using were damaged. So like maybe that's something we could work on next.
I'm going to head back to the...
So if Gearhead's like, I want to access the ship, I'll say, well, we can do that, but we have to excavate more of the ship first to find an access point. So we have to lift it up
Says
somehow.
who?
Well, says Amelia, and she's the head scavenger. So
Yeah, but I'm in a mech. Do what I want.
Can I start transmitting the data of the schematics to them?
Oh, absolutely. So immediately, Gearhead and Junker would basically get a readout. Oh, wait, which data? The sandworm data or the schematics data for the ship?
Schematic.
Okay. So both of you would immediately get a readout of the layout of the ship. It is fairly like regular long hallways and corridors in the ship. Something tickles the back of your mind about the schematics. Something seems weird about them. But you would notice that the part of the ship that is currently exposed above the sand mostly leads to a bunch of engine equipment and broadcasting equipment, and basically you would have to go through so many segments to get from the outside to an inside crew corridor that you would be blasting the side of the ship for a long time before you could really get in there.
yeah, okay.
It's a bad ship design.
Junker, you're a bit of a spacer, right?
Yeah, I've been known to do things
Been
in
known to
space.
space about.
Yeah.
Well,
Sometimes I space out.
I do both things.
What can you
Yeah.
tell us from this then?
Yeah, let me do. Can I do a starship piloting check to see if I recognize the sort of ship this is?
Yeah, so Colton, part of your background as a smuggler means you have special expertise in starships, which would give you advantage nonetheless. But you have specific knowledge in the fields of piloting and maintenance of starships.
Yeah.
This being part of your background, and I'm actually going to say your background being a criminal,
That's true.
forgery and deception specifically,
know
but being
All the
a
different
criminal
kinds.
plays into this check for a reason I will tell you if you figure it out.
Okay.
So, Colton, I'm going to have you roll double accuracy on this pilot check.
All right. I rolled a 16 plus a 3 with double accuracy, so 19.
You're forgetting that I ordered you to do it.
Oh well. Either
What-
way,
hold
I
on,
had.
and
And
double
what is ordering
accuracy.
him to do that again?
It's
Another
an
accuracy.
extra
So, you didn't roll max on your accuracy, though. You can roll one more d6, and if it's higher than one of your other two d6s, it becomes the new d6.
I don't think you could go more than double accuracy anyway, right?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I was fairly certain
Okay.
2 was the max.
No,
Okay.
then it doesn't matter.
I could.
All right,
Double
we'll
check.
double check on it, but that makes sense for it to not get crazy. So.
Yeah.
All right, so with a 19, Junker, you would recognize the layout of this type of ship because it's the type of ship that you've been trying to stay out of your entire life. It is a prisoner transport ship.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
The first thing that tips you off as you examine the schematics is the cargo bay section of the ship is far too small to be truly a cargo transport. And as you examine the long corridors, the regular checkpoints, the many locked doors, the reinforced glass segments, this is exactly what the inside of a prisoner transport ship would look like.
I'll say, yep, I recognize this kind of ship. It's a prisoner ship, not the kind of ship I like to see when I'm on smuggling runs.
What is this written on the outside? Does that say Coltan Danbury was here?
Just big graffiti.
He's doing it
Was
now.
with a Z.
Yeah, was.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. I wonder why it crashed here and what was so valuable on this
I
prisoner
think it's
ship.
pretty clear why it crashed. They got out.
The sandworm got it.
Yes, the sandworm flew into space, knocked it out of the sky, said, "You're coming home with
Look.
me."
Look,
You're
we only
mine now.
fought one. There could be a whole colony of sandworms.
You're right. It was a colony of sandworms that launched themselves into outer space and swarmed it.
Dude, we don't know anything about them except their speed is 6. All right,
Fair.
they could have.
Fair.
If many of them line up, maybe they can catapult each other into space.
It'd be kind of funny if that wasn't the secret information I had given you on a deep scan. By the way, they can propel themselves into outer space.
That'd be terrifying.
and attack
That would have been
ships.
awesome. That'd be a terrifying
They're
enemy.
they're basically like the those aliens that can travel through space via organic spaceships.
No, there's probably a breakout, and that means that there could be criminals there, alive, and on the loose.
Yeah, well, I guess we got to proceed with caution then.
I need to know why NCR
Why?
thinks it's a good
They
idea
don't have
for
mechs.
salvagers to get into this. There's still something that we're missing about this.
I bet this prisoner was carrying more than just prisoners.
Or they want a specific one.
Either way, we got a job to do.
Or they were smuggling a good guy posed as a prisoner out of some sort of hellhole. Maybe it was an undercover job.
Well, we've done
I
that
don't know.
before, so...
And maybe these are the same people who murdered my parents and worked with those aliens.
So, we head back to the salvagers.
A lot of
Gearhead,
conjecture and
you
lies
got
there.
some imagination there.
It's not imagining. My brain doesn't lie.
I've found that to be not the case.
All right, listen, drunker. We're getting in this ship, all right?
Oh, we are.
And whatever they're looking
We
for,
are.
we're gonna take.
So,
All right.
what else do we
what's
need
next
to...
for you all?
Yeah.
What was that,
I'm getting
Merlin?
in this ship.
We need to get in the ship and then fix communications?
So they're getting into the ship is going to be hard unless the salvagers can lift it up from the sand. That's what they're working on right now. They're trying to basically with the cranes and the pistons. They're trying to raise it enough so that one of the cargo bulkheads will be exposed, and then they can breach that to enter. Basically, you've righted one of the crane crawlers. So all 3 crane crawlers are active and in position so they can start to try and lift it. But that won't be enough. You also have some pistons that were knocked out from underneath the transport. They were going to extend up as it was lifted to kind of like keep it up a little bit. And then also they need help with coordination because they were going to coordinate, when everything starts at the same time and stuff. But their communication systems are down.
Okay. Any thoughts, guys? We could try to fix the pistons and put them back into place, but then they have the problem of coordinating.
Well, Merlin's good at that stuff, right? Weren't you like a diplomat or some shit?
Yes.
See, you have to be good at
Tactfully
coordinating
handled.
something.
Coordinating without communications is difficult.
Look, if anybody can do it, you can do it.
Maybe we can help with that. Maybe if we take positions around the site, we can signal different parts of the scavenging team. We could be the go-between.
How about you two work on the pistons and I'll figure out the coordination thing, but that might be what we
My
do.
thought exactly.
All right. That
I'm
sounds
going to
like
head
a
back
plan.
to the command center
do
that's
that.
operational.
What was that, Merlin?
Heading to the command center that's operational.
Okay. So we'll start with you. Merlin, you head to the command center that's still active. Inside, Amelia and Stanley are still working on trying to get a head count of the people they lost, figure out where they need to send their ground team. The people who were going to actually go into the ship, they have good enough stuff that they can be sent out to kind of like collect people from amongst the wreckage and move stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to coordinate all of that from here.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to come in and start talking to them. So we're probably on a timetable here.
Oh, Stanley looks up at you. What's that?
That thing that attacked is being drawn by the tremors. There's probably more than one, so I don't know how long we have before more show up. We need to hurry.
Fair enough.
There's at least one survivor, a woman named Sharon on the other command center.
Okay. He looks over to Amelia. Amelia nods and tells him to go on. And you see her turn around and tell some people to go out to that other command center to collect her.
Amelia.
But Stanley will keep talking to you.
No, Amelia's still there then?
Amelia is specifically coordinating the rescue teams. Stanley is coordinating the repair teams.
Okay. The Gearhead and Junker are currently going to be working on the pistons to try to get them working again. If you have any ideas about communications, it's what we need to figure out still. Other than making a signal, we could maybe do something like that and have the other teams work based off of that signal.
Stanley scratches his chin a little bit and goes, "Yeah, guess that can be done. We got flares and stuff, but that's not exactly split-second communication.
How loud would something have to be to travel through this?
Oh, man, pretty damn loud. You guys have your communications up and going again, don't you? Really, the most important thing is just coordinating between the 3
Crane operators.
crane crawlers. If each of you can get out to them crane crawlers and coordinate amongst yourselves, I think each of you could activate them at the same time. I'll just patch it in so the controls go right to your mechs.
We'll do that then.
All
I need to
right,
talk to
sounds like a
Amelia.
solve for me. I'm sorry, I talked over you.
I
What was
need
that?
to talk to Amelia.
Okay. And he'll go, good idea. I'll get working on a solution for that. And he starts rigging up a way to give you guys control over the crane.
See, a lot of Southerners on this dust planet.
They're salvagers.
Yes. They're salvagers. Of course they have a southern
Yeah.
accent.
I don't know.
A
course.
rough and
I don't know if
tumble
you've ever seen
job.
American Pickers, but those guys don't have accents.
Well,
They salvage every episode.
these ones do. I don't know what to tell you. Don't have that many voices.
We've got Southern,
You could do the Uganda voice.
Super fake British.
super fake British,
Super fake British. Southern. My voice.
and a high-pitched
falsetto.
your voice. Yeah. Falsetto.
Yeah.
Cockney. Don't forget the Cockney.
Oh yeah, I did a Cockney.
Yeah.
That
I'm telling
kind.
you,
That's
you
like
do
half.
the Uganda as well.
Nope.
Nah, I won't sink that low.
There is no reason to talk to Ugandans like that.
Because of the meme, right? Not because of you guys.
Because of Knuckles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was thinking of why is
Uh,
Obama let this sickness into Uganda?
So, I think at this point, yeah, Amelia is just finishing sending out another rescue crew. So, yeah, she's available if you want to approach her.
Amelia, you know what this ship
Yeah.
is, right?
The ship?
Yes.
What about it?
The giant
Cargo ship.
cargo ship. That's what you were told.
Yeah, it's a big transport.
Okay. Do you know what they transport?
Well, we've been given some information, yeah.
Are you worried about survivors?
Survivors on a wreck like this? Be a bit of a miracle, but I wouldn't put it out of mind.
Are your people able to deal with hostile survivors? Because
Our breach crew is specifically trained to deal with issues.
they're not as trained as we are.
It's true.
I think it would make a lot more sense for us to join in the breach. Look, we found out some information from the other command center. There's no point in hiding anything. We weren't specifically...
You know, you're not wrong, and I don't want to put too many of my people at risk if I don't have to. I'll tell you what, if you want to go in with the breach team, that's fine, but this is too big a ship for you guys to go alone. So you'll be going in with them. You'll have to spread out.
I agree.
and See what you can find.
I agree with that. But we do need a little bit more information. I want the same information your breach team has.
Well, what information you got so I know what you don't have?
Assume I don't have anything.
Then how do you know what's in there?
We found some schematics that told us a bit about the ship.
Alright, so you got the schematics. Let me give you this then. She'll turn around and she'll pull like a data slate off the thing, which is kind of like a pad. She'll dial some things into it and hand it to you. On it is a list of names. And you'll know there's no descriptions next to the names, like in terms of like who they are, but there are physical descriptions of what the people look like. And
I'll
Amelia will
nod
say,
and pocket it.
"Them's the one we're looking for."
And on more of a personal note than anything, do you know why?
Look, we get told what we need to know. We were told there might be hostiles, to be ready to fight, and that anyone who won't come willingly needs to be detained.
By any means necessary?
I won't say that we were given a kill order, but I'll give you a if fired upon, fire back.
A defend order. Well, we've got some communications to fix.
All right.
Do not, by any means, move this command center.
Okay. Why is that?
Because the worm is going to be attracted to tremors. There's probably going to be more of them. Expect your cranes to go down again. It's only a matter of time, if you ask me.
Okay. I'll put the order out there. None of the vehicles will be moved.
Once we get those in and the pistons fixed, will they be able to support the ship without the cranes?
The pistons alone should be able to hold the ship up to whatever position we're able to pull it up to.
Can you remotely operate the cranes by any means?
We have to be within a certain distance. We were going to send people out to each of the cranes to control them.
Okay. It's risky.
Or else
but...
we'd be able to just activate all three from here, and there wouldn't be a coordination issue.
Right. It's risky, but if once we get this thing locked into place, if you can use the cranes to cause tremors as far away as possible, I don't care how, might be able to draw something away from the main part of the camp will buy us some time.
We might be able to put a metaphorical brick on the gas pedal. I'll have Stanley look into it.
I've got my job. I wave and I leave.
All right, and let's jump back over to Junker and Gearhead. What are your plans?
Well, we gotta fix these pistons.
Yep. So the pistons are just out of position, or are they broken?
A lot of them were knocked away. Some are lost completely. Some are broken. They're basically all, like, imagine person width. They're all, like, about as wide as you would be. Pistons stuck into the sand on one end and wedged against the side of the ship on the other, so that when the ship is lifted, it would extend and hold the ship. When the sandworm went by, some of them might have been eaten. You don't know where they went. They're just gone. Some of them are broken, but some of them are still in position. So you have a few examples of what working ones would look like.
Okay.
Before we do that, I want to check the stomach of the sandworm for any pistons we can still use.
All right, so you're gonna just are you gonna crawl in through the mouth, or are you gonna cut open? the side?
I'm gonna cut it.
Okay.
What are you cutting
What
it
do you
with?
What do you have?
Let's see. That's a good question. I'm gonna cut it with my shotgun many times.
Cut it. Okay. Not really cutting.
Breach. I'm gonna breach
like
the sandworm.
Breach it.
Oh, actually,
Alright,
I do have a grenade. I could just throw in the mouth and blow it open.
So
Yeah,
if you're
because you
if you're
wanted
telling
pieces
me
of pistons.
this plan,
Seems like...
Gearhead's just gonna, or Junker's just gonna cut in here real quick and say, well, you could do that, but wouldn't that also just blow up the pistons as well?
What?
If you're gonna cut in there, why didn't you just cut it open? That was a cut joke. You can continue.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
We're all
I was
just,
like thinking,
blank face,
huh,
like
good
he said
question.
something.
since my shotgun didn't do that much damage beforehand, I figure some well-timed places could weaken it enough for me to just rip it open. Hopefully.
Okay, I trust you, Gearhead. You work on that. I'm gonna start replacing some of the other pistons. You let me know how that goes.
Why do I feel judgment in your voice?
No judgment.
Feels pretty judgy.
No. If anyone can do it, you can.
Could I? Oh, I have an idea.
Okay.
From part of that broken command unit, is there any metal that's really sharp?
Okay, so you're telling me you want to forge a scout?
No, I don't need to.
Yes.
I can just attach a piece to my siege ram, which is unbreakable.
I'm gonna come out
a
after
sharp piece.
planning all of this and expect the pistons to be fixed, and there's just Gearhead covered in worm blood. What are you doing? Fixing pistons?
In terms of sharp pieces of metal, I mean, it's a lot of blunted, exploded pieces. You might be able to find a couple shards of sharp metal, but they're not large. They'd be
Okay, I will take
leg-sized.
a large piece of blunt metal and try to sharpen it on the side of the ship.
Which isn't a thing that's possible, so we'll just
Why not?
let you toil
Why
away.
would that be possible?
How is the ship gonna sharpen a blunt piece of metal?
Rub it against enough times, it's at least gonna get somewhat less blunt. It'll be more smooth.
All right, so we'll come back to you in 2 years when you have that sharp piece of metal.
Fuck me, I guess. All right, jeez.
Okay, so we'll have you.
You know what? Fuck it. I'll do none of it.
No.
I'll just stand here and
Well,
watch Junker
I'll say
do whatever
that
he's doing.
you can try to sharpen this piece of metal, but you are going to do it with difficulty. So I'm going to have you roll a d20 minus d6.
Great rolls. Fantastic. Disregard everything I
Alright, what'd
said
you
in
get?
the past 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. I got a 5.
A 5. Okay, not quite enough. The piece of metal is you think too blunt to cut through the dense scales of the sand.
Then I'm just gonna crawl in.
That's a thing you can do. Do you have lights
I do
on
now.
your mech?
I don't know.
You do
I assume
now.
most mechs would come equipped with lights, man. Like,
Most would, but I'd have to ask.
I didn't specifically leave them
so yeah.
off, if that's what you're asking.
What are you using to attempt to look
Those
for
are
the
extra.
pistons
My eyes.
in the sandworm? All right, so you don't have anything you think would help, a piece of equipment,
No.
a tray.
I mean,
or
I have
background?
manipulators. That's about it.
All right. Then yeah, just roll a straight up pilot skill check to see if you find any that are usable enough to be
13.
worth retrieving. Absolutely. Then yeah, you get in there, you crawl into it a little bit, and you actually find 2 pistons that look like they're salvageable, amongst a bunch that aren't.
And now I'm gonna shotgun my way out.
All right.
13 attack with 6 damage.
Crazily enough, that works because you can't dodge that because it's inside.
And inside is less
and he
armor
only
than
has-
the outside, naturally.
Yeah, and he only has 2 armor. So not only do you blast through the guts, but you break a hole in the outer shell of the beast as well.
Well, if we come across another one, we know what we need to do. Throw Gearhead into
That's
it.
true.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
grapple it from the inside.
Let it eat you, and then kill it.
So yeah, you're able to just kind of like pull open the hole above you and get out with the pistons.
Excellent. I hold it up before I walk out of the hole and I yell, Junker, Junker, look what I got.
Junker's like, see, I knew you could do it.
I mean,
If anyone could.
and then I say, here, catch. And I throw them at him.
Okay. Both of them?
Well, one at a time. I'm not a monster.
Okay.
Are you trying to
No,
hit
I'm
him,
trying
or
to
are you
have
trying to
him
lob
catch
them at
them.
him? Catch them? Okay.
Should I roll some sort of check to see if I do catch them? I think I should.
You're not in any danger unless he was trying to peg you
Okay.
with them, so I'll say you can just catch them. Yeah.
I don't know about his mech hand-eye
Look,
coordination.
don't be like that.
All right, so
No, come on.
he's like, well, let's get to work then, and he's gonna round the entire ship and look for places where the pistons have been dislodged or been broken away, and then try to replace them with working pistons
Okay.
as he can.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're able to find a few spots that are pretty obvious that these were the intended spots for the pistons before everything got messed up in the combat. But other than that, you're not actually sure what the best layout for these would be.
It's a good
so
point.
you might have to roll something or rely on the skills of someone in order to figure out how to place these.
Well, it just so happens that I am a starship mechanic. So
Yeah, maybe I call over Gearhead and I'm like, hey, take a look. Hey, Gearhead, any recommendations on where to place these pistons?
I would place them here, 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 and here. Gearhead points to various locations.
And because you have the schematics and you have a background in starship mechanics, I'm going to say you have a +2 accuracy on a roll to see if those were
Oh, are you fucking kidding me with these rolls? I rolled a
Not good.
1.
A 1.
Oh no.
Which, obviously, no matter
doesn't
the
matter,
accuracy,
it's
is
a
still going to
fail.
be bad. Okay, so, Junker, you go ahead and you place those pistons in the spots given to you by Gearhead.
I can't wait until it crushes us all and we die.
Well,
Not an impossibility.
I mean, I'll say Gearhead. Like, do you feel good about this? Do you think it needs
Yep.
more work?
No, it's great. Leave it where it is.
Okay.
Perfect. I don't make mistakes.
Okay, and you're sure?
Uh-huh,
because,
100%.
Okay. Okay.
Just like those aliens killed my parents. 100%.
Okay, well that's not 100%. So now I'm thinking you're not so sure.
100%.
Maybe we should double check with.
No. They're good. 100%.
What's his name?
What,
The southern
Stanley?
guy.
Stanley?
Stanley. Yeah.
Look, the only thing he's got is a nice cup, all right? We don't need to talk to him. Everything's good. 100%.
He might have a layout for us.
I thought we had the layout. We had the
Ah.
schematics. 100%.
Alright,
We're
well,
good.
Hey,
100%.
If you feel
100%.
good, if you feel good about
While
it,
I would
so
love to
do I.
hear you
98%.
guys argue over this for the next half hour, there's not really a good reason why Junker would know that these are wrong. So,
No, he's good. He's like, well, if you,
Okay.
the only thing that
You're
made
sure.
him suspicious was he said 100%, like my parents being aliens or whatever. And he was like,
Or
well,
whatever.
wait, that's not 100%. But
one
Parents
Gearhead
being
lies
aliens.
about the same as another.
yeah, but anyway,
100%.
he's like, well, yeah, okay, you feel good about it, so do
It's
I.
100%. 100% accurate.
All right,
It couldn't be more accurate if it tried.
I'm convinced you're good.
So in this case, you guys have pretty much come up with a solve for all three issues. If you're going to coordinate, like they suggested, in between each crane crawler. So, all right.
I guess we'll all grab one.
Yeah.
All right, so the three of you are sent out to each of the crane crawlers, and the one closest to the command center. Who's at that one? The one closest to the command center.
I assume it'd be JD.
Okay. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. I'd say
'Cause-
no. Junker's gonna go there.
Yeah, as a leader, we will defer to your judgment.
No, I want Junker there in case something goes wrong mechanically. Wait,
Okay.
no, Gearhead.
That's the wrong
Gearhead,
person.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
yeah,
I'm also
you know
have some
machines.
mechanical
You go there
knowledge,
first,
but not as much.
Okay.
and
Sounds good.
then Junker's
Alright,
the right,
so,
and I'll be the south.
Okay. So Gearhead, you're going to be at the primary crane crawler. This is where Stanley is. He's going to kind of have the stuff pulled up, like all the data on what should happen when. And he kind of just needs
And also
you
a comic
to-
he's been working on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has a storyboard up in front of him. It's just all the word bubbles aren't filled in yet. So he just wants to make sure that all of you can coordinate the lift procedure at the same time. He pulls out his schematic board and he shows you what needs to happen and what the
Okay.
crews on the ground are doing at the same time. So, Alannah, you're going to be the one in charge of
Well, that's
telling
that's
everyone where to
good
go.
because I have expertise in information systems, so this is
Okay.
probably a good thing.
And because of that, what you're trying to do isn't terribly difficult to coordinate. Gearhead, I'm gonna say that this is an instant success.
Woo!
You know.
3, 2,
enough
1, go.
about-
Success.
Wait, do we go on one or go? Everyone's wrong.
You go on 2, obviously.
Of course.
Classic.
1, 2, 4, 3, sir. 3.
1, 2. You should have went 2 seconds ago.
So Alannah, tell me how you explain the coordination.
So
This is your show.
I was handed the whatever Stan Lee gave me, and I read through it. I look at it again and again, and then it clicks. No, literally, like it clicks. I'm like, why is it clicking? And then it clicks at me. Aha! I know exactly what to do. So, as I'm scrolling through the list of like what they all need to do, I'm like, we got to do this part first, then here, then there, then this, and we'll do it on my mark. And then
All right.
we go mark, boom, and everything falls into place as it's supposed to.
Okay.
Please don't
So-
say falls into place while we're lifting this.
Falls into place.
Into place.
Falls into
Falls.
place. Falls
With that
into
100%
place.
accurate piston alignment.
Yeah. That perfectly
100%.
normal piston alignment.
Which I never doubted.
100%.
no one
It's only
doubted
covered a
for a
little bit
minute.
in sandworm blood. 100%.
Absolutely, completely no problem. So, as the cranes and lifts installed by the salvage team begin to work, you watch as the derelict ship begins to slowly raise up. Sand cascading off the sides and pouring out of the joints. An access point. The side cargo door section will emerge. The machinery slows, then stops. Amelia's transmission will come up to Cody's character, Gearhead, and she'll say, "We're going to breach the doors and head in to begin. Get ready."
Wahoo!
Oh yeah, I don't know if I told you.
Showtime.
Oh, we're going to breach in and go with them.
That was Gearhead will reply. That was my plan anyway.
Well,
Yeah, I don't think
no,
you
we're
could have
gonna
kept
do that.
your head out. So
I'm gonna also
works
send
out.
them information about the different people too.
Okay. So now all of you have access to the layout schematics. You have access to the names and descriptions of what they're looking for here. And obviously he told you what the plan is. As you guys are... I assume you're all heading to the breach point as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you're approaching, you'll see that crews and environmental protection gear are rigging the cargo hatches with explosives and thermite and all kinds of things to open up a
Explosive
section in the bulkhead. Explosives and thermite,
Nice.
the same thing said twice.
It's a great combo. Explosive thermite.
Yeah.
It's like double TNT.
Yeah.
So, as you guys go in, it starts to fry out the side, and a large panel section just flops inside. It looks dark inside, and a bunch of the ground crew start switching on vest-mounted mag lights and stuff like that, and they start getting to sides, and you see something that you didn't realize they had before. You notice all of the ground crew is equipped with assault weaponry. So every one of them is carrying a rifle of some sort.
I like to have an image of
And they're all
like a big
just
thick
in,
mag
like,
light that's
EV
just,
suits.
Oh. Like a giant, it's just sticking out from them like a horn, like a chest horn.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
What was that, Gearhead?
So are they all in some sort of suit? Since
They're
they're
all-
not in mechs.
Yeah, they're all in environmental protective gear.
We can go in our heart
Like
suits, right?
biohazard gear or less.
Think sub hard suit. It's enough to protect them, but it
Gotcha.
doesn't have like actuators to increase their strength. Extra
The Under
armor and
Armour
stuff
of
like
hard
that.
suits.
Yeah, it's essentially it'd be a lot like the Under Armour you would wear.
Yeah.
That's the lining of your hard suit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
upon seeing that they're all armed, I will say to Merlin, they expecting resistance?
We're going into a prison transport ship that crashed for some unknown reason. I'm expecting resistance.
Yeah, but it looks like it crashed pretty bad.
I mean, stranger things have happened, and expecting resistance and not getting it is fine.
That's a good point.
Suppose.
Anyways, we could make it through in our hard suits, right?
Actually, when the party goes to enter the derelict, you would be able to move your MCs into the cargo area that they just breached into, as long as you widen out the breach points that the team created to kind of get your suits out of the storm.
Sure.
But to advance further into the interior out of the cargo bay of the ship, you would have to dismount.
Yeah. And then when we dismount, we'd still be in our hard suits, right?
You could take your hard suits, but it does appear that this ship was created with the idea of people in mind, not mech pilots. So there are some possibilities that you would be suffering kind of a closed-in scenario where there might be certain doors you couldn't get into properly while still in hard suit. In general, the first couple of corridors leading out from here, you could go through in hard suit, no problem. But if you do decide to advance in your hard suits, you might find some difficulty navigating further in.
But the hard suit shouldn't double my size as a human.
It's quite a bit. It doesn't double your size, but in terms of size values, you are considered half mech size in terms of.
In a fucking hard
that's
suit?
pretty
Jesus
big.
Christ.
It's pretty big. Yeah.
That's insane. Seems widely
I
unnecessary.
mean, it's not like it has like all the like gear and electronics.
It
in
has
It's not
it
like
has
a
jump jets
spacesuit.
on the back of it. Yeah, it has jump jets on the back of it. It has very thick armor plating, enough that you could survive a hit from a mech weapon if you were hit. in
But
hard
even
suit.
so, you think this is the future? That shit could be miniaturized to not be so damn big.
Well,
Jeez.
I'm saying that you absolutely can go in hard suit.
I'm taking it
I'm
off.
going in with it.
I'm taking it all off. I'm going in with just me.
You are out of the storm inside of here, so you don't necessarily have to be in hard suit to travel, but I'm saying you can do it or you don't have to. It depends on whether you want the extra protection a hard suit provides, or if there might be some place you want to crawl through, in which case the hard suit will be an issue. Also, keep in mind that you can get out of your hard suit at any time. If you take your hard suit in and find further in a place that you need to squeeze through or your hard suit couldn't fit, you could always get out of your hard suit then.
Do our hard suits have locator beacons?
You would be able to find your hard suit, yes. And no one can wear another person's hard suit. If you leave your hard suit
right.
behind, if someone tries to get
Forgot
in
about
it,
that.
it will just lock them inside the hard suit. They can't operate it.
Genetically coded in. Okay.
Yeah. A hard suit is useless without the pilot it was meant for.
So Alannah's gonna look through the entrance. And does most of the ship look to be made of the same color, material, whatnot?
The ship is actually so you're looking into the cargo bay, right? The interior of the
Yeah.
cargo bay is large but mostly empty. There are some supplies banded together in stacks of industrial crates, and there are pedestrian-sized openings that branch out from the cargo area to the interior of the ship. Inside the ship, it looks very segmented inside, and Gearhead and Junker, specifically, from examining the data that Merlin gave them, would also be able to determine that, according to the layout, it's very segmented and regular. There isn't much variation on the interior.
Okay, what color is
long
it?
corridors, full-length window segments, security booths. The walls are flat and nearly featureless, and a beige color.
Okay, so she's going to take her reactive clothing and makeup and make it the color of the walls.
Okay, that's very easy to do. Yeah, this is not something that would be hard to blend into with that.
Excellent. Just
Alright,
in case
so are
she
you in a
needs to
hard
be.
suit, or
No,
are you-
I'm out of it.
Okay, but you've turned on your reactive clothing.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
and I'm also going to bring my
And
Omni
Junker.
tool.
Oh, that makes sense. That there's definitely a lot in here that you'd be able to interact with that. And Junker, how about you? How are you advancing into the ship?
So I'll get out. So I'm gonna get out of my hard suit as well, and I have a personal drone with me. So I think I'm going to.
Is it a Roomba?
It's a flying Roomba.
This ship will be clean, goddammit.
He just sets it down and it starts like bumping into walls. And he's just going.
Like, oh, Roomba. You're so silly.
It'll get there.
So I'll send my personal drone up ahead to
Roomby.
kind of scout out the corridors in front of us. Can move like, think about a half mile away. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to use a personal drone to scout out a little bit. See what's ahead.
So, basically, there's a bunch of different corridors that lead off this place. The inside of the ship is large and maze-like, and because it's so regularly segmented and every area looks like the last, it's really easy to get turned around in this place. Your groups are going to be splitting up. Smaller teams of salvagers are heading off in different directions from you guys, and I think they'll kind of leave you guys to take whatever tact you want to take in investigating the ship. But they have their system in place.
Okay.
That how they're going to spread out and search.
Okay. I think.
I mean, to me, it's. I guess I would just go with whichever looks the least combat oriented. Because I'm in my hard suit, and then take point with that team.
Oh, you're going to go with another team. You're not going to stick with your guys?
Well, I guess it could. What do you guys think? Do you want to stick together?
Yeah, we should probably stick together.
I've got stealth clothing on, so it doesn't matter to me.
Let's,
we can do whatever.
Stick together.
This is actually a good question. Are you guys equipped with personal armaments, like weaponry?
I have a
I have a glue gun.
Weapon.
Am I the only
if
one
you
with
guys,
a lethal weapon?
Yes.
You guys could have had pistols easily.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
I didn't bring one. I know for a fact I didn't bring one.
I would have a pistol, and I would think I could put like an assault rifle in my mech, right?
An assault rifle would have taken up one of your cargo spaces.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, anything that is rifle sized or larger takes up a spot in your cargo section.
Well, then just a pistol. Pistol, my
Okay.
hard suit. My
well,
hard suit has weapons on it, right?
Hardsuit has a mech weapon, a personal weapon attached to it. It's not as strong as usual mech weapons, but it way stronger than a human weapon, yeah. Because humans wouldn't be able to lift the stuff you use very well. But as you guys enter the dark, unknown bowels of the ship, I think we're going to go ahead and call our session there. You guys have successfully salvaged the ship and made a breach, and next time we'll figure out what you find inside.
Excellent.
Cool.
If anything.
Right.
See you next time.
Maybe we'll find nothing.
If anything, that's true.
Maybe.
If anything.
The
Well,
ship is illusion.
thanks again, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you when we pick up this mission next time.
Like and
Toodles.
subscribe.
Cool.